style, and design. All three terms are interrelated. Fashion is a particular style which is accepted by number of population in a period. Style is a particular design in a garment which create a garment different from other. And now the question comes, what is design? Yes, today we will discuss about what is design and how they are made. So, me and Dr. Richa Prakash is here to discuss about the elements and principle of design. Now, what is design? Design is a variation of a particular elements and designs. It is a composition of elements and principle of designs. It is made with the different kind of elements and principle of design to create a unique or aesthetically appealed product. So the designs are in different forms. They have classified into three, like structural design, functional design, and decorative design. The instructional designs are those designs which have included in the garment with some kind of structure and give some kind of structure to the garment, like the collars in the shirt is a structure of that garment. And in this PPT you can see some kind of peplums in the one-piece garment at the shoulder levels is a structured design. So this kind of designs incorporated in the garment is known as a structured designs. Now the second category is functional design. The design which have some purpose in the garment, like functionality in the garment, like a pocket. There is a pocket in the garment, have some purpose, like you can store your small things into that pocket. So that is known as a functional designs in the garment. Now the decorative designs, the third category is decorative design. Like the fabric or the garment have some kind of designs like patterns, prints, and some kind of stitches, embroidery that make that product aesthetically appealed. So this kind of designs in the garment known as the structural design.
Now coming to the elements of design. When we talk about elements of design, elements are basically those things that are concerned with what are the basic criteria that goes behind designing a particular thing. Now, since we are talking about designing in terms of clothing and apparel or in terms of fashion, we are talking about 6 different ways or 6 different elements of design. They are shape, form, space, line, color, and texture. Now, we will go one by one talking about each and every element of design. The first one is shape. Now the name itself suggests shape is a two-dimensional area enclosed by a line, and the outline created by the line is known as silhouette. Now whenever we talk about shape, हम shape जो शब्द होता है उसे बहुत ही एक जेनरिक लैंग्वेज में भी डे टू डेज यूज में भी यूज करते हैं. सो शेप क्या बताता है? कोई भी जो आउटलाइन होती है किसी पर्टिकुलर चीज़ की, कोई सामान है या कोई व्यक्ति है, कोई पतला है, लंबा है, मोटा है, किस तरह का है, क्या शेप है उसका, बेसिकली उसकी जो आउटलाइन होती है और जो वो शेप का आउटलाइन फॉर्म करता है उसे हम फैशन के लैंग्वेज में या क्लोथिंग एंड अपैरल के लैंग्वेज में उसे हम सिलूट बोलते हैं. तो शेप जो होता है, जैसा कि मैंने बताया, इट्स ए 2D फिगर. सो इट डजंट हैव हाइट, वेट. इट्स जस्ट ए 2D फिगर विच इज kept on the any paper or platform. Now there are different types of shapes, like there can be straight shape or bell shaped. So straight is something which comes runs from the top and then it comes down slowly, follows, and it forms like an very straight parallel kind of line are there in the at each sides. That is straight shape. बेल का हम जब बोलते हैं, बेल मतलब हिंदी में होता है घंटी. सो whenever we talk about the bell shaped outline or the silhouette, bell is something which forms the shape of ghanti, bell. So that's another kind of shape that is there for the garments. And all these different types of shapes, whether it's straight or bell or in fact A line, many different types are there which are not even mentioned here. They all form a different type of garment. The third one that is shown here is back fullness or bustle. This kind of shape was generally worn by women or ladies in in previous centuries, we would say. So इसमें क्या होता है कि जो किसी भी garment का जो back होता है, back side of the garment होती है, उसमें fullness होता है. So when we use the word fullness means हम fabric को, कपड़े को gather करके एक embossed effect देते हैं, जैसे कि वो फुला फुला लगे, kind of balloon जैसा उभरा उसका shape आए. That's called a back fullness. So there are many other different types of shapes as well. Coming to in general, when we talk about some of the pictures that are there, what kind of figures they form when we use a particular kind of shape. So you will see that if we are using A line or maybe bell shaped, all these shapes form a different kind of figure. And shapes can be geometric or organic. When we say geometric, it can be maybe a triangle or a square or rectangle. And जब हम organic बोलते हैं, organic word is used with any kind of shape. There is no particular length or width to that. So if you see the figures on your screen, the first one is an organic design, organic shape दे रहा है वो, because there is no fixed length and width to that. The second one is a combination of geometric and organic. So there is circle, then there is oval, and then there are some geometric patterns as well. And the third figure is actually a patchwork which includes different types of geometric figures. There's a triangle, there might be a diagonal design, there might be, a rhombus included in that. And all these shapes together they form to become a overall shirt in this particular garment. Now coming to the second element of design, that is form. Form is the 3D element of design and has length, width and height. Also, it is enhanced by color, shade, tone and texture. So till now we were talking about shape. When we said shape, I mentioned that it is a 2D design. मतलब वो एक flat surface पे होता है और उसका सिर्फ length या width होगा. When it comes to form, it's a 3D structure. So when it comes as 3D, there is a width along with the height and width, there is three-dimensional figure as well. So and जब भी we talk about the form, it always forms a 3D structure which is a combination of color and different types of shapes and forms along with that. So if you see on the screen, this is a figure, this is a picture of footwear, and you can actually make out कि इसमें अलग-अलग तरह के forms use हुए हैं. तो इसमें एक vertical design भी है जिसमें कि height है, थोड़ा सा circular है, cylindrical shape का है, तो उसमें उसका circumference होगा, and then it might be a hollow design or maybe a full one. So then there is it forms a 3D figure. Also, as I said, कि color is a very important part of the form. So just simply using colors, अगर हम एक color को different तरीके से use करें तो भी वो form का shape दे सकता है, ले सकता है. And then the third figure, if you see, it's a very organic, I would say, and combination of organic and geometric shapes, and it has rhombus shapes in that, it has triangle shapes and various different shapes that forms the whole form. Now the third element of design is space. Space मतलब कोई भी जगह या area create जो होता है. So the area within or around a shape is called a space, and a filled space is called a positive space, and an unfilled space is called a negative space. So when we talk about space, what happens is कि जो भी shape हमने पहले बताया है कि shape होता है जिसमें कि एक outline होती है और उसे हम silhouette कहते हैं, तो it's basically the two edges, the parallel lines that go together, or it might be tapered as well. तो उसके बीच का जो area होता है उसे हम space कहते हैं. Now space can be used in various ways. It's not necessary that it has to be a 2D figure or a 3D. It can go in various ways. But जब भी स्पेस का यूज़ किया जाता है तो इसमें दो हम दो वर्ड्स का यूज़ करते हैं, एक होता है पॉजिटिव और एक होता है नेगेटिव। पॉजिटिव स्पेसिंग वो होती है जो कि फिल्ड स्पेस होता है, जैसे कि अगर फॉर एग्जाम्पल वी आर टेकिंग अ सर्कुलर फिगर और मे बी अ सिलेंड्रिकल फिगर, सो इफ दैट इज फिल्ड विद समथिंग then that will be a positive space, and something that is unfilled or maybe if it is hollow then it will be negative space. So the figure that is there on the screen right now, if you see the black portion there in between the garment, that is the unfilled space or the hollow area basically. So it creates a negative space and it gives the illusion that there is no fabric behind in between. Some of the other figures also, if you see these figures, there's a hollow inside, so that is called the negative space because it's completely hollow, and the whole garment is the orange color garment or the off-white color garment, beige color, it is the positive space.
Now the other element is line. It is a very important element of design because आप लाइन के बिना कोई भी सिल्वेट रेडी नहीं कर सकते, कोई भी स्ट्रक्चर फॉर्म नहीं कर सकते, देन शेप नहीं आप बना सकते. तो there are different lines which is used in the garment and it can be created with the garment with the structure form in the garment like pleats, gather and some kind of opening you can give to the garment. It will give the line element into the garment. Like different kind of lines are there, like horizontal line, vertical line, diagonal line and curved lines are in the garments. So first of all we will discuss about the some horizontal line, like in picture it will give some length to the garment, so it moves eye upward to downwards. So जैसे ही आप ऊपर से नीचे तक garment को देखते हैं, that will give some length to the garment. If it also gives some kind of illusion to the garment, like अगर कोई short person है, कोई मोटा person है, that will wear a line horizontal line or vertical line garment, it will create the length to the garment wearer और उसको वो height देता है, तो उसकी वजह से इल्यूजन क्रिएट होता है कि शॉर्टर पर्सन जो है वो लंबा दिखने लगता है. सो दीज लाइन आर गिव वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इफेक्ट इन टू द गारमेंट. नाउ द हॉरिजॉन्टल लाइन्स, it will create, it moves from across the body, so it will give some kind of width to the wearer. So a person who is very thin, जो बहुत पतला है और मोटा दिखना चाहता है, तो उसको horizontal lines garments ही wear करनी चाहिए. So it will create some volume in the body or silhouette or the garment. So जो person है वो थोड़ा सा short दिखेगा, जो long person है थोड़ा short दिखेगा और जो thin person है वो थोड़ा सा मोटा दिखेगा. Then next lines are diagonal lines. It move from the side to side, so it gives some kind of slim effect into the garment. So person who is very fatty person want to look slim, they can wear a diagonal line into a garment and they will choose the diagonal pattern into their garments. So now the third lines are rounded and curved line, which is generally follow the contour line, like the shape of the body, because the female body have different curves, and to emphasize that curve the garment will be look beautiful and aesthetically appeal. So this kind of lines can be included into garment, and the person can look good with this kind of garment. So all these four types of lines will give some kind of illusion to the garment. So next example is, for the first picture is related to the horizontal line. Second picture, when the lines and space are combined together into a garment, it will give a good और aesthetically appeal result into the garment. So जो person है वो उसको अपने personality के, अपने body structure और silhouette के according अगर वो lines और elements का use करेगा, different kind of lines patterns का use करेगा garment में, that will look beautiful. Then next element is color.
Now when we talk about color, rang, color is the element of the garment that first attracts our attention. So जब भी हम मार्केट में जाते हैं और हमें कोई कपड़ा, फैब्रिक कुछ भी हमें दिखाई देता है, तो पहला चीज़ जो हमें उसकी तरफ खींचता है, उस फैब्रिक या उस गारमेंट की तरफ, वो कलर होता है, रंग. हम सभी के कोई ना कोई फेवरेट कलर होते हैं. सो दैट्स द वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट एलिमेंट्स ऑफ डिजाइंस. Colors decide the mood depending on the combination. So this is a very clothing psychological kind of thing where it says that जो हम color पहनते हैं वो actually हमारा mood डिस्क्राइब करता है. सो इट इज ऑब्जर्व व्हेन वी स्टडी क्लोथिंग साइकोलॉजी, इट इज ऑब्जर्व्ड दैट जब हम बहुत हैप्पी होते हैं तो वी टेंड टू वियर लाइटर कलर्स, मे बी सम ब्राइट और लाइटर कलर्स. व्हेन वी आर इन अ वेरी काइंड ऑफ मूडी और थोड़ा सा डिप्रेस्ड वे में होते हैं, सैड अबाउट समथिंग और वरीड, वी टेंड टू वियर डार्कर कलर्स. And also a very neutral thing is that then when we are neither happy or nor maybe sad, then we tend to wear all the pastel colors. So yeah, this is one of the psychology that is kind of related to the colors. Now when we talk about colors, there are various types of colors, but the three dimensions, the most important three dimensions of a color is hue, intensity and value. ये तीन जो डायमेंशंस होते हैं, ये सारे क्लोथिंग के कंस्ट्रक्शन को किस तरह से वो दिखता है, किस तरह से वो अट्रैक्ट करता है, ये सारी चीजें बताता है. सो द फर्स्ट वन इज ह्यू. Hue refers to the visible component of the color when any surface is viewed under light. So if you see the diagram, it's a simple red color, it's a simple yellow color and it's a simple violet color. So basically hue क्या होता है, अगर मैं बहुत ही सरल शब्दों में आपको बताऊं, जो रंग आपको सामने दिख रहा है वो उसका hue है. अगर हमें लाल लाल दिख रहा है तो वो उसका hue हुआ. शेड पे हम नहीं जाते हैं, वेरिएशन पे हम नहीं जाते हैं. The second dimension is called intensity. Intensity is something that refers to the brightness or dullness of a color. Bright colors have higher intensity as compared to pale colors. तो बेसिकली क्या होता है कि कोई भी कलर या तो बहुत ब्राइट होता है या वो बहुत डल हो सकता है. एक ही कलर के 10, 15, 20 शेड्स हो सकते हैं. सो ये जो शेड होता है, जो ब्राइटनेस और डलनेस जो किसी कलर का बताता है, इसे हम इंटेंसिटी कहते हैं कि कितना इंटेंस है वो कलर, कितना ज्यादा ब्राइट होगा. अगर कोई कलर बहुत ज्यादा ब्राइट है तो उसकी इंटेंसिटी हायर होगी. अगर if the shade is lower on the duller side, then the intensity will be lower. If you see the figure on your screen, इसमें सिर्फ एक ही कलर का यूज किया हुआ है और वो है ब्लू. लेकिन जो ब्राइटनेस और डलनेस है वो अलग अलग है. यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा डल शेड का भी ब्लू है, वो सबसे पहला वाला, उसके बाद आपका रॉयल ब्लू जैसा है और फिर नेवी ब्लू जैसा है. तो ये जो इंटेंसिटी होती है कि कितना ब्राइटनेस या डलनेस है, that is another dimension of design. And then the third one is your value. Value is something which indicates the degree of lightness or darkness. कितना ज्यादा हल्का है या कितना ज्यादा डार्क है. हल्का तब होगा जब उसमें व्हाइट का क्वांटिटी, व्हाइट कलर का क्वांटिटी, व्हाइट की मात्रा ज्यादा होगी, और डार्क तब होगा जब उसमें ब्लैक का मात्रा और ज्यादा होगा. So that's your degree of lightness and darkness. Also if you see on the screen, ये सारे जितने कलर्स हैं यहाँ पे, ये सारे रेड के वेरिएशंस हैं. जो मेन कलर है, जो आपका ह्यू है, वो रेड है, लेकिन जो वैल्यू है उसमें आपको नंबर ऑफ कलर्स यहाँ पे दिखाई दे रहे हैं, बिकॉज जो उसका लाइटनेस है, थोड़ा ज्यादा लाइट है, फिर उससे कम लाइट है, फिर उससे कम, और फिर एक कलर ऐसा आएगा जो कि बहुत ज्यादा डार्क हो जाएगा. सो दैट्स योर वैल्यू. Also, there is another very important, term that comes under the element of design for color is your color wheel. कलर व्हील में प्राइमरी कलर्स होते हैं, सेकेंडरी कलर्स होते हैं और टर्शियरी कलर्स होते हैं. तो प्राइमरी 3 कलर्स होते हैं, रेड, ब्लू और येलो. उसके बाद सेकेंडरी आते हैं जो कि प्राइमरी कलर्स को मिला के बनाए जाते हैं, और फिर टर्शियरी आते हैं विच इज ए कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ प्राइमरी एंड सेकेंडरी कलर्स. So if you see the first one, the 3 inside ones colors are primary, which are yellow, blue and red. And then if you combine yellow and blue, आपको green मिलेगा. If you combine yellow and red, you will get orange. And if you combine blue and red, you will get purple. Similarly, जब आप secondary के 3 colors को primary को मिला के बनाएंगे तो आपको tertiary मिल जाएगा. अनदर थिंग हियर इज योर कलर स्कीम. बहुत सारे कलर स्कीम्स होते हैं, जैसे मोनोक्रोमैटिक हो गया, एनोलॉगस है, कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री है, स्प्लिट कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री है और ट्राइड है. मोनोक्रोमैटिक, मोनो का मतलब होता है एक, तो मतलब एक ही कलर के वेरियस शेड्स होते हैं. एनालॉगस होता है कि एक कलर हम कलर व्हील पे ले रहे हैं और उसके दोनों बगल वाले कलर्स कौन से हैं, लेफ्ट वाले में कौन सा है और राइट वाले में कौन सा है. कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री इज एग्जैक्टली द अपोजिट. अगर ग्रीन है तो ग्रीन के एग्जैक्टली अपोजिट रेड आ रहा है, सो ग्रीन एंड रेड आर कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री टू ईच अदर. स्प्लिट कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री वो होता है कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल ग्रीन है और उसके सामने वाला जो कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री कलर था उसके अगल बगल लेफ्ट और राइट में कौन से कलर्स हैं, दोज आर स्प्लिट कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री. एंड ट्रायड मतलब एक ट्रायंगल फॉर्म होता है. सो इक्वल डिस्टेंस पे एक ट्रायंगल फॉर्म होता है और उसमें जो 3 कलर्स आएंगे वो उन्हें हम ट्रायड बोलते हैं. Now this is one picture that will show you the, how in various different ways we can use colors, combination of colors, primary, secondary, tertiary colors के सारे combination है इस picture में, और ये कितना ज़्यादा bright आपको एक look दे रहा है कपड़े का. So if you see the first one, there are number of primary and secondary colors. If you see the second one, इसमें tertiary भी include हो गए हैं, and so on and so forth. So the more number of colors we use, primary करेंगे, secondary and tertiary, the more number of shades, different hues and different intensity of colors we are going to get.
Now the next element is texture. What is texture? Texture is a surface of that garment. Like garment are made with the fabric, and fabric have some kind of feel and surface, or that have some tactile value. So there are different type of textures, like tactile textures and visual texture. Tactile textures are those textures which are feel like when you touch the garment or the fabric, you feel some kind of feeling like hard, soft and smooth. So this type of texture is known as a tactile texture. And some texture are visibly you can see that texture on the fabric surface. Like अगर आपको rough texture है, जैसे मिट्टी का अगर हम texture देंगे, that is a rough texture. Some kind of glass have smooth texture. So the visual impact of that texture is known as a visual texture. It can be included in the garment, and it can be used in the garment for various purpose, like it can be used with the weaves and some kind of finishes, some kind of prints. You can incorporate different texture in the garment. Like a designer want to create some kind of different texture, they include the fibers into fabrics, and the weaves, the yarn they use in the garment, it will create some kind of textures and some kind of finishing. Like in the picture you have seen that first one is the weave effect of the fabric, which give the rough texture on the garment, and second picture is with this heat setting pleats on over the fabric surface, which create some kind of rough texture on the fabric surface. And the silk and satin fabric have smooth texture and brighter texture with the weaves, and because of the silk is a very bright fiber, so it will have some texture, brighter texture on the fabric surface. And आप सभी जीन्स वेयर करते हैं, you can see the denim have some kind of rough texture on the fabric surface. So the texture can be added into the garment with various purpose or various methods you can use to create a texture on the fabric. Some kind of texture also included in the garment with the seams or different kind of tucks, pleats. You can create it on the fabric, and you can create different texture also. So these are the element of designs, like shape, forms, space, and lines, colors, and the texture. Combination of these elements create different garment in the designing part. So now we will discuss about the principles of design.
So coming to the principles of designs, the principles of design serve as guidelines for combining elements of design in an aesthetic way. Till now we have talked about the 6 elements of design, जो कि आपका उसका look बताते हैं, उसका how will it look, how does it attract a person. When we come to the principle of design, it shows how aesthetically appealing will the garment be after using these principles. So there are 5 principles: proportion, rhythm, balance, emphasis, and harmony. Proportion, as the name itself suggests, कि तालमेल बिठाना. So there should be a proportion. दो चीजें हैं तो वो similar लगनी चाहिए. Proportion can be defined as the relationship of parts of a garment to each other and to the body as a whole. Now there can be garments जहाँ पे कि the sleeves might be very huge and the garment might be very small, or the garment might be too lengthy and the sleeve might be there might be no sleeve or half sleeve, but those garments generally don't give a very good proportion to the wearer, to the garment of that particular that person is wearing. बट अगर हम प्रोपोर्शन की बात करें तो जैसे कुछ एग्जांपल्स मैं आपको बताती हूँ कि अगर एक फ्रॉक है या कोई गाउन है, वेडिंग गाउन है, और उसका जो वेल होता है जो सर पे लिया जाता है वो बहुत लेंदी है, मे बी 40 और 50 मीटर्स लेंदी है, तो वो थोड़ा सा डिसप्रोपोर्शनेट हो जाता है. सो प्रोपोर्शन भी कई तरह के होते हैं, डिपेंडिंग की स्लीव को हम बॉडी से कैसे प्रोपोर्शन में डाल रहे हैं, या बॉडीज जो होता है, बेसिक बॉडीज जो होता है वो अगर फुल लेंथ का गारमेंट है, या अगर जीन्स है तो क्या वो टॉप का स्लीव जीन्स के साथ जा रहा है कि नहीं. सो वन हैज टू ऑलवेज बैलेंस द होल थिंग, एक प्रोपोर्शन क्रिएट करके ही चलना होता है. और अगर आप इफ यू सी अ टॉलर पर्सन, सो द प्रोपोर्शन ऑफ द काइंड ऑफ गारमेंट दैट पर्सन विल बी वियरिंग, दैट टॉल पर्सन, उसका जो प्रोपोर्शन होगा वो एक छोटे स्टाउट पर्सन से काफी डिफरेंट होगा. सो इफ यू सी द फिगर, देयर इज अ टॉल एंड comparatively healthier person in the first figure, while in the second one it's slightly different, and that person is carrying a big bag. तो वो बैग के लेने से वो जो पूरा प्रोपोर्शन है, जो पूरा इंप्रेशन है, जो लुक आ रहा है गारमेंट का, वो चेंज हो जा रहा है. द थर्ड पिक्चर इफ यू सी, द गर्ल बिकम्स अ लिटिल थिनर, tall height उसकी वही है, but the body becomes a little thinner and the bag also becomes very small. So the overall look आपको दिख रहा है, जो aesthetic appeal की जो हम बात कर रहे हैं उसमें ये होता है कि the third girl looks better compared to the first two one, because the bag is smaller and the girl is also thin and tall, so it's perfectly kind of in proportion. And the last one, if you see, there is something on the neck, some kind of cowl or maybe an extra fabric, and the girl becomes shorter, height कम हो रही है, लेकिन बैक का जो है proportion वो बढ़ जा रहा है. तो इसमें क्या हो रहा है कि बहुत ही एक cluttered जैसा figure लग रहा है, because there are too many elements and proportions that are going actually in this particular figure. So having a proportion is very important. The second principle of design is balance. Balance, as the name itself suggests, कि there should be a balance between two things. So there can be asymmetric balance and symmetrical balance. So asymmetrical में क्या होता है कि अगर आप किसी भी फिगर को हाफ में कट करेंगे, स्प्लिट करेंगे, तो वो परफेक्टली एक दूसरे के ऊपर बैठना चाहिए, वो होती है सिमेट्री. asymmetrical में वो परफेक्टली एक दूसरे के ऊपर नहीं बैठता, जो कि आपका सेकेंड फिगर में है. Also, if you see in these pictures, the first one is your asymmetrical balance, because completely वो एक दूसरे के ऊपर overlap नहीं होगा half में, while in the second one it will. The third one is your rhythm. Rhythm may be defined as a pleasing sense of organized movement that gives continuity to a design or a garment. So basically एक rhythm एक flow में जाता है कोई भी garment का. It might start from a particular place and then end हो जाएगा, लेकिन वो बहुत ही एक flow में जाएगा.
Now, emphasis is a principle which is given into a garment to emphasize a particular thing. Like if the garment have some kind of buttons, some kind of bow into a frock, that will create a emphasis. Like आपको अगर कोई garment में कुछ ऐसा aesthetically कुछ emphasize करना है, कुछ particular thing, जैसे कि आपका जो picture में है उसमें आपको दिख रहा होगा, that is a one shoulder dress, and the other side of garment have black color patterns on that dress. So it create some emphasis. The person जो भी उस dress को देख रहा है, that will go to that black side of that garment. So it will create some kind of emphasis on that dress. Then harmony is a element or principle of design in the garment. Like the elements which is used in the garment and the principle which is used in the final garment should have some kind of harmony on that particular garment, so that the final garment will look good. So in this picture, as the peplum and the geometrical structure will given to the dress, and it will give some kind of harmony into the dress. So finally 5 elements are there, like proportion, rhythm, harmony, emphasis, and the emphasis on that dress. So all these principles and elements combined together make a fine dine garment. And as a designer, you should know about the different kind of elements and principle of design, and how to combine this element and principle of design in a final dress to look that final garment beautiful. So the design and the elements of different designs and principles gives combined effect into a final garment. So this is all about today's session. Hope you like it this session. We will meet you in the next session. Thank you.